Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasada Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanami Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Kucharani Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskata Visitani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaksto Bhadrani Vidunati Suhitsatam Nastapresu Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Tada Rajas Tamo Mabu Kamaloka Dayaschayi Chita Itaranabhitam Stitvam Sattve Prasiddhati Evam Prasana Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Upasangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaya Grantis Chidyante Sarvasamsaya Shiyante Chasyakarmani Drista Evat Manishware. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literature, Tulsi, go get the microphone. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures, or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita, is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna is dwelling within the heart, or in everyone's heart, acts as a best-wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of a samsayam samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 2nd Chapter, 17 to 21st verse. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Okay, so today we're going to discuss Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse number 40. Actually, Prabhu, you can put it on the screen here. Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse number 40. Chapter 1, Canto 1, I'm sorry. Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse number 40. 1-8-40. Got it? Okay. 1-8-40. Ime janapada sridaha supakshvo sadivirudaha vanadri nad yudanvanto ye dante tava vikshitai ime janapada sridaha supakshvo sadivirudaha vanadri nadyudan vanto Yedante tava vrikshitaha. Vrikshitahai. Yeah, shitai. Ime janapada sridaha. Supakshvo sadivirudaha. Vanadri nadyudan vanto. Yedante tava vikshitai. Okay, anybody want to chant? Ime janapada sridai. Supaksvo sadiviruda. Vanadri nadyudan vanto. Oh, what happened? It's coming, okay. Just now coming.
Yedante tava vikshitai.
Yedante tava vikshitai. Ime jana pradasvada. Supakshvo sadivirudaha. Vanadri nadyudyanto. Yedante tava vikshitai. Okay, ime. All these. Janapada. Cities and towns. Sridaha. Flourished. Shupakva. Mature. Osadi. Herbs. Virudaha. Vegetables. Vana. Forest. Adri. Hills. Nadi. Rivers. Udanvanta. Seas. He. Certainly. Edante. Increasing. Tava. By you. Vriksitai. Seen. Translation. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Please repeat. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. The natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme. And as He desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish in them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills, and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. So today we're going to talk about natural prosperity, not industrial prosperity. We are being misled by false leaders, thinking that our salvation is through industrial prosperity. What we need is natural prosperity. So write down these two terms: industrial prosperity versus natural prosperity. Industrial, I-N-D-U-S-T-R-I-A-L, prosperity, P-R-O-S-P-E-R-I-T-Y. You got that? Industrial prosperity versus V-E-R-S-E-S, natural prosperity, N-A-T-U-R-A-L, prosperity, P-R-O-S-P-E-R-I-T-Y. So, here we see that when people follow Krishna consciousness, there will be natural prosperity. Why? Because Krishna is in control of the sun, the rain, the seeds, the currents of wind, the currents of water, the land, the movement of the earth, and movement of all celestial bodies. He controls all these things. He's in control of the rivers and the ocean, and all the currents in the rivers and the ocean. There are currents in the ocean. Did you know that? There are actually currents. In ancient times, people knew this. Therefore, they could sit in a little boat, a very small boat, and go from China to America. You can't do it all the time, but certain periods, there is a current that'll go from China to America. And it's usually, today they talk about, what do you call that? Anyway, it's a period where there's either more rain or less rain because of these currents in the ocean. And it happens once every 12 years. What? El Nino. Nino, yeah, El Nino. Yeah, that's one name for it. El Nino, so when there's El Nino, there might be much more rain. And it's all determined by the wind and the currents of the ocean. So there is during El Nino, there is a current A current means a specific direction in which water is going, in which it will take you from China to the United States. You can just put a little boat in it and just go by itself. You know? So these are mysterious things, but they're part of nature. And who's controlling nature? Krishna. So if we live according to Krishna's instructions, as given in the Varnashrama system, and even better than that, it's called Sanatan Dharma. If we live according to his instructions, then nature cooperates with us. And what happens? Well, human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. So our whole society today is based on gigantic industrial enterprises, whether it's in digital technology, or whether it's farming, or whether it's production of iron and steel and producing cars and all these things. All this is due to industrial enterprises. And Prabhupada says these gigantic industrial enterprises, like you look at Boeing. Boeing has 140,000 employees. Google has over 100,000 employees. Microsoft has over 100,000 employees. These are gigantic industrial enterprises. Amazon has, I don't know, maybe 140,000. Huh? More than 500,000 employees. Wow, that much, huh? Amazing.
Most of them are in warehouse.
Oh yeah, they're low-wage workers. Yeah. That's why there are protests against Microsoft, against Amazon in Spain and other places in Germany. They're saying, you know, you're treating us like slaves. It's inhuman working conditions. You know. Amazon called the police in Spain. They said, go into the factory and force them to work. And the police said, are you crazy? We're not going to go into the factory and force your workers to stay on the job. That's not we're not being paid for that. They refused to, huh? Yeah, there's not enough time to go to the bathroom. They're so busy. They're being forced to work so much, they can't even go to the bathroom. So this is a godless civilization. The people running these gigantic industrial enterprises, they're actually godless. They don't believe in God. Their God is money. And they cause destruction of the noble aims of human life. You know what that means, Prabhu? You know what that means? Destruction of the noble aims of human life. What?
It destroys the noble aims of human life.
What does that mean? Like what? Like what? Give him the microphone. What is a noble aim of human life? Is it to go to Disneyland? Is that a noble aim?
Go to Krishna.
Ah, very good. Very good. So it destroys your ability to go to Krishna and develop good qualities. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being. What does that mean? Squeeze out the vital energy of the human being. You just went to Kerala to squeeze in the vital energy of your body, right? Yeah. So what is it? I mean, obviously, something happened to squeeze out your vital energy.
Strain out the energy.
What happened that squeeze it out? Squeeze it out. We want to squeeze it in, right? It says, the more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human body. So we want to squeeze it in. We don't want to squeeze it out. So what caused you to squeeze out your vital energy? Huh?
The balance of the three vatas in the body, three doshas in the body.
No, but that's, yes, but what caused that?
Stress.
Ah,
Too much.
too much stress, yes.
Stress.
You see? the more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. Who knows what this word means? Exploitation. Krishna.
I'm guessing it's treating others in a really bad way, like slaves.
Yes, you exploit people.
Yeah.
X is a prefix, right?
Yes.
And it means out, taking something out. What are you taking out? You're taking out their money by squeezing them to work so hard, and they just get exhausted, right? So what did they say in Spain? Why they were protesting?
It's inhuman conditions, primarily. There's no time to drink water or go
There's no time to drink water, no time to even go to the bathroom, right? They're squeezed. Jeff Bezos is squeezing them so hard, right? They can't even go to the bathroom. They're forced to work. And then he calls the police to go in and force them to go back to work and stop protesting. You see how crazy he is? Or somebody, maybe it was his factory manager. They're so crazy. They call the police. You think the police, you think that's their job? This happened in the United States in the 1930s, where policemen were trying to force protesting or workers back to work with batons, beating them, get back to work. Then they came out with all these labor laws, and then they strengthened all the what do you call those? Huh? No, the labor, not the laws, but the you have the group that represents the workers. Unions, yeah. They're strengthening the unions. They passed so many laws strengthening the unions, right, to protect the workers from being squeezed, right. So it says here, what is the correlation? The correlation, right, between increasing troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of human beings and unrest and dissatisfaction of people in general. How do these correlate? What's the relationship between these two things? One is squeezing their vital energy by forcing them to work in these big industrial complexes. And it ends up with dissatisfaction and unrest of the people. What does it mean, unrest? They're not sleeping enough? Yes?
Like they always like nervous and stuff.
Well, unrest in this context means that they're going on strikes. They're striking. They're refusing to work, and they're protesting. Now, why do people get dissatisfied like this? Yes, Krishna.
Because they're working so long every day, they don't even get to do anything, and they don't even get a good pay.
Yeah.
They're getting like squeezed out. They can't even go to the bathroom. The job is making them sick.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. So you want to go into IT?
No.
You want to go into robotics?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're going to squeeze you.
With cats.
Huh?
With cats.
With what?
Cats.
Cats. What cats? What's cats? What is cats?
Oh, it's because yesterday we talked about them having a cat. So
Oh, that's nonsense, right?
I want to own something.
Well, no, Jeff Bezos now is making an artificial cat. It's a cat robot. You can take it for walks, but it doesn't pass stool and urine. You want to buy one? It probably costs about $5,000, but it's a cat robot.
What's the use if normal cats are like $50 to $100?
Yeah, but they pass stool and urine. You have to spend money to buy cat litter and you have to clean up the poop.
Who wants an AI cat? That's just
A lot of people want them. You can take them on a walk, everyone will look at you and say, wow, you have an AI cat. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So the natural gifts. Oh, now what does it mean that the mass of people will, their vital energy gets squeezed out and they developed unrest and dissatisfaction? Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. What does that mean? Only a few can live lavishly by exploitation. Let's write this word down. Lavish. Lavish. What does lavish mean?
lavishly is basically like living the luxury life.
Yes.
Like living a good life.
Yes.
A
No,
good-
well, how do you know it's good?
Quote good.
Yeah, quote, good. Yeah. So-called. Say
Yeah.
so-called
Yeah.
good life. It's actually a bad life because when you're living lavishly, you're overeating, oversleeping, over sense gratifying, and so forth. But what does this mean? Doing this, living lavishly by exploitation. Let's have somebody else besides Krishna, because Krishna is in advanced studies in his school. So who can explain living lavishly by exploitation? You have any idea, Tulsi? Okay, Prabhu.
So it's like
Wait a minute, take the microphone. Take the microphone. Here, take the microphone. Take the microphone. Go ahead. That's all right, it's on.
You're living a luxury life by like doing something.
What's exploitation mean? We just explained it a few minutes ago. X I said is a prefix. What does it mean?
Out.
Out. Yeah. What's when you exploit? What do? You go to Disneyland? Is that what it means? Exploit to Disneyland? No. Okay, give it to Shishna. Learn this word exploitation. Write it down. Did you write it down? exploition. Huh? Oh, okay. Exploitation. Tation. Yes.
Yeah, so like exploit kind of means like to cheat.
To a certain extent, but no. When you exploit someone, what do? It's actually a bad thing. What is it that you're doing? Someone is living lavishly by exploiting the workers. What does that mean?
Oh, so they're like kind of blackmailing.
Not blackmailing. No, they're forcing them to work hard with less pay. And the guy who's doing that is making a lot of money by exploiting their hard work and giving them lesser pay, and he's getting a big salary. He's making millions of dollars a year, and his workers are making $50,000 a year. That's called exploitation. It means you're taking advantage of people's hard work and paying them less, and you're making much more. It's called exploitation. Okay. So, Prabhupada says, human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization. What does that mean, a godless civilization? First of all, what does civilization mean? Krishna. Okay, give him the microphone. Today is Krishna's day, right? He's on a roll here.
Civilization is
Put on the microphone.
a civilization is like a group of people living in a same place.
Is it a small group?
Not really like the same house, but it's a really big group, like one state or two states, something like that. Like a big.
Okay, but
big
now we
basically
know
city.
it's a big group. But what does civilization mean?
It's a group of people.
No.
Oh, it's
more
like
than that.
a city where things run, like.
Well, you're getting a little closer.
It's like a settlement.
Yeah. Settlement.
Civilization means much more than that. It's how they organize themselves.
It's a big industrial city, basically.
Well, yeah, okay, but how they organize themselves and what is their purpose in that? What is the purpose of all that organization? It's called a civilization. They're living. So, in the Vedic times, the civilization was based on going back to Godhead. Today, it's based on making money and having sense gratification. You see, so
Yeah.
it's how the people. What is the purpose of that big group? Is their purpose to go back to Godhead, or is their purpose just to enjoy sense gratification?
It depends what civilization, but normally now the civilizations are full of like industrial buildings to like make money and exploit others.
Yeah.
Slavery
Based
even
on
now.
exploitation, yes. Okay, so then the gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. So we said the noble aims of human life is like developing good qualities, developing compassion, and empathy, and tolerance, and self-control, and all that. So when you're working so hard, you don't have time, all these things, right? And you're worried about paying the bills, and you're running here and you're running there, and then you want to have sense gratification on top of all that, so you don't have any time to develop good qualities, right? And the more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being. So squeezing out the vital energy means that you're forcing people to work so much that they have no time for anything, and plus they're tired. Put your hand in front of your mouth. We don't want to see your tonsils when you open your mouth and yawn, right? Okay. So there's no time for spiritual life. There's no time for family life. People are just working so hard, right? And it leads to unrest and dissatisfaction. Unrest means people start striking, they start refusing to go to work, and they block trains bringing in raw materials, or trucks bringing in raw materials. You know, they do all these things. They disrupt the normal supply chain so that the factories can't function properly, right? Forcing the people who are living lavishly by exploitation, the CEOs, the chief executive officers, to raise their salaries and give them more rest time and so forth, right? So the natural gifts such as grains, vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as He desires. Material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. So here we see that actually you don't need all this industrial organization. If we just cooperate with Krishna, Krishna will supply everything we need. Like, for example, can you eat a cell phone? What do you think, Prabhu? Can you eat a cell phone? Can you eat a cell phone? No. No. Can you eat a computer?
No.
Can you drink metal? No. Can you, let's say, can you get healthy by breathing in smoke?
No.
No. Oh, can you eat a cigarette?
No.
No.
Technically you can.
You can?
Because like you
You can? Have you ever tried that? It's really horrible. You wouldn't like it, believe me. So, yeah, you can only eat what? Like bananas and grains and fruits and things like that, yes. Give her a microphone. Give her a microphone.
We saw this guy in a show center in Redmond Town Center. He was like on the stage, and it was.
Is this in Redmond?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
I went like 2 weeks back or something, and so.
Hare Krishna.
We saw this guy. He was drinking metal, liquid metal, on the stage, and trying to show everybody.
You sure it was liquid metal?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Everybody was like, he was on a stage, and we were all coming to feel it. It was really metal.
And when was this?
It was 2 or 3 weeks back.
Was it the Christmas Lights Festival in Redmond?
No,
It was something else.
it was nothing. Like, people just can come up and do whatever they want to, and it was on a weekday.
Oh, it was an open mic.
Yeah,
Can you show the liquid inside?
yeah. Like,
Did you touch the liquid? Did
Yeah,
you-
everybody could feel the liquid. And he just put it in his mouth like this, drank like 2 sips and spit it out.
Oh, he spit it out.
How do you know
Like-
you didn't put, like, I don't know.
Well, for metal to be liquid,
It has to be super hot.
it has to be super hot.
You
You
can-
actually touched it?
You can buy the liquid metal outside.
You can buy it. Oh, he
Yeah.
was selling things?
No. So basically, so he bought it from like, now they're starting to sell it in like Safeway.
He was trying to sell it.
No. He was drinking the liquid metal that he bought.
Okay. What metal was it?
I don't know. It was like 2 pounds.
Was it metal chocolate?
No. It was real metal.
It couldn't be metal because metal is not liquid. You know how they make metals? They have to heat them to such a high temperature so they become liquid. Did you know that?
How do you know he didn't put like gray food coloring into like water to make it hard?
Well, were there any adults there watching him?
Yeah.
Did they believe it was metal?
Most of them did.
They did?
Yes.
How do you know that?
They're just like, oh my god, that's so cool. How do you do that? And then he was like, and one person objected and said, I don't think that's metal.
Yeah, right. It can't
That
be
was an
metal.
Indian.
Metal it becomes liquid at very high temperatures. Have you ever tried? I mean, did he say which metal it was? No. You were tricked. Yeah. Okay. So these are natural gifts: vegetables, fruits, grains. I mean, every day, do you eat vegetables, fruits, and grains?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So let's say we eliminated all vegetables, fruits, and grains. Would you be able to eat anything? What?
Yeah. I'd love to eat industrial stuff.
No, but they're also made from grains, at least. You know, your Rice Krispies, your corn flakes, all those things are made from grains. Right? So here it says that Krishna produces these things, or he can stop them from being produced, or reduce their production. Yes.
You could eat quinoa.
Yeah, you can eat quinoa. But that's a fruit.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So the natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. All right, now let's go back to this word exploit. What does it mean? Yes, Prabhu.
So that means when you do some hard work,
Is your microphone on?
So when you're doing something really hard.
It went off again. Wait a minute.
So then another person, if he has to pay you if you do your hard work, if he pays you less money, then that means like
He's exploiting you.
yeah, you're exploiting.
Right. Yes. You can exploit someone by paying them less, or you could exploit them by forcing them to work more. You know, that's what people are protesting against Amazon. They're making them work so much they don't even have time to go to the bathroom. You know, during their work time, and they can't even take a rest. They have to work continually just to meet the deadlines that they're being given. Yeah, okay. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts, meaning the grains, the fruits, and so forth, and pearls, and so many things, jewels, by nature, and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. Why did we come to the material world from the spiritual world? Who knows? Krishna's on a roll here. Okay, let your sister answer. Go ahead. Why did we come here in this material world?
Because we got attracted by Maya.
Yeah, but you get attracted by Maya, but then what do you want to do?
You want to leave Krishna.
What?
You want to leave Krishna so you can...
So you can do what?
So you can do sense gratification.
Yeah, no, you want to exploit the material nature. Maya is representative of the material nature. So we came here to exploit the material nature. Who does the material nature belong to? Yeah. So you're trying to exploit something that belongs to someone else. What is that called? It means you're a thief. You're trying to take something and exploit it for your own selfish purpose, but it actually belongs to someone else. Right? Everything belongs to Krishna. So we come to the material world, yes, for sense gratification, but sense gratification, to have it, you have to exploit someone or something. Now, if it's something, that means you become a thief. You're trying to steal something that belongs to Krishna. If it's someone, then you are exploiting a person. You're abusing their right to be Krishna conscious by exploiting them for sense gratification. You're making victims. So either way, whether you say, well, I'm not trying to hurt anyone, I just, want to own a lot of things. Well, but you don't really own anything. You're stealing it from Krishna. You see? So either way, whether you say, oh, I only exploit things, that's not bad. No, it is bad, because all those things belong to Krishna. They should only be used in His service. And then worse than that, you're exploiting people. That means you're denying them the opportunity to become Krishna conscious by forcing them to work a lot or forcing them to be exploited for your sense gratification, you see. This word exploit is an important word if you have to understand it. It means you're taking advantage of people unjustly, either for sense gratification or for making money, a lot of money off of their work. Okay. However, if we simply cooperate with Krishna, then He'll supply us everything we need. Because He'll make nature regulated. The seasons change in a regulated way. It rains at night and it's sunny during the day, so everything grows really nice. You don't have to worry about watering. Like, a farmer loves that. If it rains at night and it's sunny during the day, that means he doesn't have to water the plants, And they grow like anything with the natural rain and the natural sun. It's only when there's irregulated rain, like there's a drought, and that causes a lot of problems, right? Or if there's too much rain, that causes a lot of problems. You see? So who's controlling all these things? Yeah. So if we cooperate with Krishna, he'll make it so that nature cooperates with us and makes our life much easier. So the more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reactions of such exploitative attempts. So twice he uses the word exploit in one sentence. So let's analyze this sentence. He says, the more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment. What does that mean? Whims of enjoyment, yes.
So whims is like you suddenly get a random wild idea.
Yeah, very good. A whim means you get some wild desire, right? Not based on Krishna consciousness. Based on what? Yeah, speak into the microphone. Based on?
Sense gratification.
Yes. And it's usually, a whim means that it's not based on, give him back the microphone. It's not based on shastras. So you think, oh, today I want to eat lemon meringue pie, even though it was made with eggs, because I like it. Right. So that's whimsical. In other words, it's not based on shastra. It's based on lust, right? The desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. So here it says that the more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reactions of such exploitative attempts. What does that mean? Yes, Shasta. Give the microphone to your sister.
So when we're exploiting material nature, we're performing bad things. So we get bad karma. And so we stay in this cycle of birth and death.
Yes. We get entrapped. Like, you ever see an insect entrapped in a spider's web? What happens when the insect is entrapped in a spider's web?
He gets eaten.
He gets?
He struggles.
Eventually. Well, he struggles, he can't get out. The more he struggles, the more he gets caught in the web. And then the spider comes and kills him. And then wraps him up. And that's like the spider's refrigerator. It wraps up the insect. And he'll eat him when he's hungry. Right? So that happens to us if we try and exploit material nature for our sense gratification. The more we try to exploit material nature according to the whims of our sense gratification, the more we shall become entrapped by the reactions of such exploitative attempts. What does it mean, entrapped? Krishna. Just by saying your name, we make more advancement.
Like,
entrapped.
Trapped means like getting trapped somewhere, like you can't. Entrapped means you're like trapped and you can't get out, and like again and again. So if you try to exploit someone, then you'll get exploited again and again. Isn't that what that phrase means?
And you get entrapped because, as a reaction
Yeah.
of that illicit activity. Right.
So the more you try to exploit, the more you'll get trapped because of that reaction.
Yes.
Okay.
Caught like an insect in a spider's web.
Yeah.
Okay. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? This is called a rhetorical question. Do you know what a rhetorical question is?
Yeah.
Shrestha. Hare Krishna.
So when an author writes, they sometimes add questions.
Ask questions.
They ask questions, but it's not for you to like answer out loud, but it's for you to think about it and understand
you know
what
what
they're
the
trying
answer
to say.
is. You know
yeah.
what he asks a question in such a way that you know what the answer is.
Yeah, like
You don't have to answer
Yeah.
it. You know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So, who knows how to spell rhetorical? Yes, bro. Okay, write this down. Say it slowly into the microphone. 1, 2, 3, go.
RHETORICAL.
Okay, you got that? RHETORICAL. Rhetorical. You got it? That means a question is asked, but you don't have to answer. You know what the answer is. Right. And so what is the rhetorical question? If human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? Hanker. What does hanker mean? Is it a name? Hank. Yes. Well, give her the microphone. Okay, Shrasta's catching up to Krishna now, man. She's on a roll here.
to hanker means to want something.
Yes. Desire something. Yeah. But hanker after industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men. What does that mean? At the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men. Yes, Tulsi.
Want your workers to work really hard
And make little money.
and make little money.
Yeah. Okay. But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. That means Krishna can give or not give. It depends on his mercy. So, how can you get the mercy of Krishna? Very good question. By the way, that's your homework for next week. Explain how you can get the mercy of Krishna. Who wants to answer that? Okay. There he is. Give him the microphone. How do you get the mercy of Krishna? You want to answer? Okay. Okay, go ahead. Give it a try.
So, well, you need to come to temple, and then you need to chant, and then you need to do service, and then you need to talk with devotees about Krishna,
Okay.
and then you need to eat prasad.
Can you do all these things without a guru?
No.
So then,
Yeah.
no, okay. So it says, Yasha prasadat bhagavat prasada, Yasha prasadana nagatir kadopi, dayam strutvam stasya, yashastri santam, bande gurursi charanadavindam. What does that mean? Where is that prayer from? It's the last verse of the Guru Vandana prayers, right? We chant every morning. So we chant this every morning, right? So it's the last prayer. What does it say? By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master at least 3 times a day. So, can you do all these things that you just said without a spiritual master?
No.
Well, you could, but you would not really advance. Just like, can you be a heart surgeon without going to medical school? So what's the advantage of going to medical school? Yes, Krishna.
So you don't accidentally cut someone's heart open.
Wrong. Go ahead, give him that. What's the advantage of going to medical school?
So you learn how to do good surgery, so you don't accidentally kill
Well, how
someone
do you learn?
by going to medical school.
No.
The professor.
No, you can visit the medical school every day, but unless you're enrolled as a student,
The teachers.
and what happens when you're a student?
The teachers teach
Ah, the teachers, right? You can't learn without the teachers. They're going to show you how to, make the incision, open up, go into the heart, and they'll teach you all these things, right? So teacher means acharya, is the guru. So without the mercy of the spiritual master, you can't get the benediction of Krishna. So, this is your homework for next week, right? Write how to get the mercy of Krishna. Okay? But just don't say, oh, you accept the guru. No, write some more besides that. You want to answer now? Go ahead. All right.
Isn't it by pure devotional service to Krishna, like loving him and caring for Krishna?
How do you learn that?
By going to a guru or a spiritual master that can teach you.
Yeah, you don't learn that by playing Fortnite, right? Or do you?
No.
No. What do you learn by playing Fortnite?
Killing.
Exactly right. Killing your guru, killing Krishna. Yeah. So you can only learn these things from a bona fide guru and gurus. What are the two types of gurus that are necessary? One American guru and one, Latino guru, or what kind of gurus?
Shiksha and Diksha.
Yes. So what's the difference between Shiksha and Diksha guru? Or what's the similarities also?
So one of them is the Shiksha Guru is the one who initiates you. No, the Diksha Guru is the one who initiates you, and the Shiksha Guru is the one who always helps you. So like, you might not always be with your Diksha Guru.
Yeah.
So that's why you have your Shiksha Guru.
Diksha guru also instructs you, but usually, not all the time, but most of the time, Shiksha gurus are not there. They're traveling around. So the Shiksha guru is there all the time, or Shiksha gurus are always there to help you. Okay. So, a man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. Are there sufficient grains and vegetables in the United States? Yeah. So how come they're eating so much meat? Huh? Yeah, it's demoniac. It's not unnecessary. Let's say there was no grains and vegetables. Would you eat meat? No, you would. You would. It's okay in that case. Yeah. But, I mean, it's not, you don't say, well, hey, Mom, don't buy any grains and vegetables. Harivilas said it's okay to eat meat, so don't buy any grains and vegetables. No, that's not true. If there was actually no grains and vegetables, but that's very hard to imagine because there's a surplus of grains and vegetables in the United States. Right? You can eat grass. You can eat grass. No, you can't eat it, but you could chew on it. You can't. You don't have the stomach to digest cellulose, which is made. Grass is made of cellulose, but you could chew on it. And what happens when you chew on it? It's like a juicer. You get the nutrients, you get the liquid nutrients in the grass, and then you spit out the cellulose. That way you could live off of grass. You can. Grass is actually very healthy. But not grass in which they put, no, not fertilizer, but they put the pesticides and all those things. Yeah. Herbicides. They put herbicides on the grass. Okay, so if human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? What kind of a question is this? Rhetorical question. Remember that? How do you say the word? No, not horrible. It's rhetorical. Yeah. How about you? You know how to say the word? Rhetorical. Yeah. You know how to say the word? No. Can you repeat what he just said? Very good. Now you know how to say it. But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. So you achieve the perfection of human life by what? By going to Disneyland? By how?
Practicing spiritual things, having a guru, and loving service to Krishna.
Yeah, by devotional service under the guidance of bona fide gurus. So Kunti Devi here is saying that she desires Krishna's mercy be bestowed upon her family so that natural prosperity be maintained by Krishna's grace. So there is a verse. Now this is you're going to have to look at this verse and the purport to answer the question for next week. Okay, so it's chapter 3. You got to write this down now. Chapter 3, verse number 10. Chapter 3, verse 10. How come your brother doesn't write anything down? No, not you. I was talking about. You don't know. Do you know? No, you know why he doesn't write anything down. Huh? He's what?
He doesn't bring a notebook.
How come you bring a notebook and your brother doesn't bring a notebook? Well, can you help your brother next time bring a notebook? Huh? Tell your mom. Okay. So this verse, chapter 3, verse number 10. Sahayagya prajasristva pururava prajapiti anena parsavistyadvam esavosvistakammaduk. So it says, in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures, meaning Krishna, or in his form of Lord Vishnu, sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yajna, or sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. What does this mean? Krishna tells the demigods and human beings, be happy by performing this sacrifice, this yajna, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So what is the yajna, or sacrifice, in Kali Yuga that you can actually do successfully? Anybody? Tulsi, you know the answer to this. What is the sacrifice that one can perform successfully in Kali Yuga? It begins with a H. The first word is Hari. or Hare? Huh? What? Yes. Very good. So if you perform this Harinam Sankirtan, then Krishna will bless you with everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. What does that mean? Achieving liberation. Yes, Tulsi. You go back to Godhead. Yes. Yes. Okay. So to answer the question for next week is, how do you get the mercy of Krishna? Right? So you're going to have to read this verse 3.10, right? Chapter 3, verse 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Read the verse and read the purport. Okay. So now we're going to go on. Well, they're late today, so we'll go on to another point. Yeah. What?
About exploitation.
Exploitation. Yes.
So what we should do to not to get exploited by industrial enterprises? Like we are hearing this, but we are getting continuously exploited. So what we should do? And
well, wait a minute. Let's see if you're actually being exploited. Do you have time in your life to chant Hare Krishna?
yes,
Do you have time to come to the temple?
partially yes.
Do you offer your food before you eat it? Does your wife offer the food?
Yes.
Do you have time to read a little bit every day? Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam?
Partially yes.
Well, you answered yes to all the questions. That means you're not being exploited. Exploited. If you were really exploited, you wouldn't have time for any of those things. You see my point?
Okay.
Now, but obviously, you're working in a company in which they make money off of you, but they're not exploiting you to the point where you have no time for Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Do you have time to sleep at night?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not being exploiting. It would be like you have no time even to sleep. You're so worried that you're going to lose your job that you're working overtime even for nothing. So they're not scaring you into working so hard that you have no time for anything else. But there are companies in which they scare you to the point where you have no time for anything else, like Amazon. Okay, so now there's another verse, 1st Canto, chapter 10, verse 5. Write this down. You can also read this verse in order to answer the question, how to get the mercy of Krishna. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, chapter 10, verse 5. SB 1.10.5. 1.10.5. And this verse says, the rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs in every season paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. So, this sounds a little strange. They're saying that the mountains, the oceans, and so forth, in every season, paid their tax quota to the king. Does that sound right? It sounds a little strange, doesn't it? Well, yeah, you want to say something?
What does it mean by tax quota to the king?
So, like in America, you have to pay minimum 10% tax. Minimum. But usually it's much more than that. A quota means you're required to pay so much tax, right? So, in the purport it says, since Maharaj Yudhisthira was under the protection of the Ajita. Who is Ajita? Ajita. Jita means conquered. Ajita means unconquered. So who is the most unconquered person? Krishna. That's a name for Krishna, Ajita. The infallible Lord, as above mentioned, the properties of the Lord, namely, the rivers, oceans, hills, forests, etc., were all pleased, and they used to supply the respective quota of taxes to the king. Now we have a different concept. This is a different civilization now. When you have a king who's actually a real devotee like Yudhisthira, then not only do citizens pay tax, but the rivers, the mountains, the oceans, the hills, the forests, they also pay tax to the king. Did you ever hear that before? If Trump knew this, he would become the greatest president of the United States has ever seen. To get the rivers and mountains to pay tax. He can hardly get the people to pay tax. Imagine if the mountains pay tax, the rivers pay tax. You see? So you have to read this to answer the question. Right? How do you get the mercy of the Lord? So part of that is, what is the mercy of the Lord? You see, if someone is a spiritual leader of society, and that society is a civilization based on helping everyone go back to Godhead, then Krishna will arrange so that the rivers and the mountains and the oceans and the forests, they pay tax to the king to make life easier for the people so that they have time for Krishna consciousness, you see. This is the difference between industrial prosperity and natural prosperity. Didn't you write that down in the beginning of the class?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is part of the answer. You have to explain also the difference between industrial prosperity and natural prosperity.
Jasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Jasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Jasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara. Hey. Brajabara. Just follow me. Gokula Ranjana. Gokula Ranjana Kana Ranjana Kana Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Kamana Vidhana Kamana Vidhana Kaliya Damana Vidhana Kaliya Jana Palana Surakula Nasana Nanda Godana Rakoala Nanda Godana Rakoala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sarasika Kripa Maya Rasarasika Kripa Maya Radha Vallabha Vrindavanata Para Jai Nitalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivajana Sadhu Astu Iskon Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Paramamsa Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada ki Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Thakur Haridas ki Prem se go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Sri Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Devi Jamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki Nama Sankirtan ki Harinam Mahamantra ki Brihat Mridanga Seva ki Parama Karuna Sisi Gaur Nityananda ki Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Sisi Radha Nil Madhava ki Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki Shambhira Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.